You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. Now, the largest new media platform on the web and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keetin. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Keeping Up with the Kardashians After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Keeping Up with the Kardashians After Show.
I remember when we broke up the first time you said, and this is it, I had enough. Cause like we hadn't seen each other in a month, and you said you needed space.
What? Hello everybody, Bing is for doing, and we're here doing another after show for Ease Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Season 8, Episode 17, Paparazzis and Papas. But before we get into the episode, we have to acknowledge the fact that Bruce and Kris Jenner are never ever getting back together, like ever.
Wait for the chorus.
I'm telling you, Bruce and Kim are never ever, oh Bruce and Kris are never ever getting...
It's not a laughing matter.
It's not a laughing matter,
but we did predict it a while back.
We did, because Bruce has been living in this crazy Malibu house. We'll get into all the dirty details when we get into news and gossip, so stay tuned. But first of all, we've got to talk about paparazzi.
Can we introduce ourselves first? Who are you?
Yeah, I'm Jason Ikeler.
And who are you?
I'm Danica Kennedy.
And I'm Keetin Marchi.
Oh my God. And Justin is out this week. He'll be joining us back next week. He had to work late.
Yeah.
And I bet he's bumming that he's not here.
Him.
Now let's talk about paparazzi. Did you like that cue, everyone?
That was nice.
Papa.
Nice.
Everybody give it up for Marissa, our handy-dandy engineer.
Woo! Guys, cueing the tunes today.
Cueing the tunes. So, paparazzi issue starts off with Kylie and Bruce driving. And this is actually a super scary thing because Kylie's 15 at this point. Don't remind us of their ages on YouTube. We've got it. She's 16 now. We are aware. Anyways, she's 15. She's driving with her dad in the car. And all these paparazzi are chasing you. And when you're learning to drive, that's like the last thing. I don't know about all y'all, but I was
nervous with no one even
no
around.
paparazzi. I know. I knocked over a mailbox and ran over a turtle my first outing.
But and can you
ran over
imagine
a turtle?
Yeah, I did.
Oh gosh. And can you imagine how even more nervous she is? Like she's driving like $1 million car. Like
yeah.
Like if you're 15, you're driving a super expensive car. And paparazzi are chasing
Not to mention
you.
it's dangerous, but it's also a little creepy that like these 40-year-old men are following around a minor, taking pictures.
That's so scary. I mean, most girls have had the feeling like a guy or someone has been following them in a car before, or at least I have. And having a feeling of them. No, it's happened to me before, and just having one person do it for like a few blocks has freaked me out so much. So I don't even know how these girls put up
because they're
with it all
actually
the time.
legitimately following them all the time.
All the time.
Well, in LA, like people who drive in LA, people are horrible drivers in LA. It's such a scary place to drive if you're not from around here.
I couldn't imagine learning to drive here.
Oh my, terrifying.
Yeah, I would not be alive.
Because people just do whatever they want. They just cut in front of you. They jaywalk. Like, you have to look at the road at all times.
So Bruce ends up getting out of the car and kind of going off at the paparazzi.
So funny.
And I felt like it was well-deserved. Like, I think it was a cool move on Bruce's part.
He was cussing a lot.
I felt like he could have. Okay, like, I would never want to see my dad dropping, like, F-bombs like that at 15. I don't think that's a good, like, representation.
But I mean, I think they definitely swear in front of their kids.
No, I think they definitely do. But, like, come on. Like, is really, Bruce, that's how you want to show your 15-year-old daughter how to deal with paparazzi? By,
I get that.
Getting angry.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that he's
But I
pissed
feel,
off,
I feel like when you're in the moment and these grown men are following your daughter, like, you want to get out and you want to kill them.
I don't think it's that bad because I feel like the purpose for curse words is to prove, it's to express how you feel, and he was very upset and was trying to get rid of them. And I think if he was like, can you please leave or get out of here, it's not the same as get the out of here.
Yeah, well, and I feel like obviously being nice doesn't work, so he's got to up his ante.
I don't know, I would just
drive my car right into them.
Well, or
They're all the little Priuses
Yeah.
lined up.
that
I
was
Suckers.
crazy.
Suckers.
Every single one of them were in
Prius
Priuses. Yeah.
Product placement.
So the whole family is kind of being taunted by the paparazzi, and it does feel like, I think in 2013 it's worse now than it ever has been.
Yeah.
And I know that some celebrities are going to court and trying to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But-
I mean, but it is nice that like all the girls in the interviews today acknowledge that we know what we signed up for. They get it. Like
Yeah,
they
they're
know
not-
what they
I mean-
signed up for. But like it comes a point where there's kids involved and when there's
Yeah.
pregnant women involved, like safety.
Or when you're
Gosh, it
driving.
just-
I think when
yeah.
you're driving, it's so
it's
crazy.
too aggressive too. And even Kylie said they all hunt for Kim, and when they can't find Kim, they stalk
Yeah.
the rest of the family. And in this episode, they showed the paparazzi attacking them more than ever. I feel
Well, yeah,
like.
so what happened with Khloe? I guess the paparazzi was trying to get her to hit their car, so like slamming on the brakes and taking pictures. And then when she got out of the car, the guy, she's like, I need to get your license plate. And the guy drove off, and her attorney told her, like, there's kind of nothing we can do about it.
Because she got out of the car and she like approached him, then it looks like she's putting herself in that situation, unfortunately. So
Which there has to be some sort of, yes, I get it. I see both sides because they're in this industry and they're not really famous for doing anything. I get that. And so paparazzi is an important part in making their career. But there has to be some sort of line that I think legally the government needs to come up with.
well, and if they said it like in Europe, they made a ton of after the Princess Diana tragedy, they did make a bunch of laws when you can't take pictures of people when they're in their cars, only when they're on the sidewalk, and you can't publish pictures of children. Like, and so if you go look at any European magazines and there's kids in a photo, all the kids' faces are blurred out. Like, even if it's like Posh and like Beckham, like if they have Harper and like their kids with them, they will blur out their faces. And it's like, yeah, we've all seen them in the U.S., but like it's like a little more respectful.
Yeah,
Like,
I think that- I
paparazzi
think
freaking
it's true,
suck,
I think
but-
they should do that here, especially because, I mean, Princess Diana, that did all happen in Europe, but it had a huge effect over here, too. Everyone was devastated, and to have something like that happen to Kim or another big celebrity that all these people look up to, that would be
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah, there's actually a documentary out about all of this, the whole media craze called Celebrity with like SELL,
Yeah.
celebrity, and
How do you spell
it's
celebrity?
really it's really cool because it like they talk to like Jennifer Aniston, like Salma Hayek, like a lot of the big A-list stars, and it's basically a discussion about this, and it's interesting to hear all of their stories. I think Sarah Jessica Parker is another one, but it's a really really cool documentary. So I suggest if any of you guys like are into pop culture and stuff, definitely check it out.
Well, and I guess it depends on the star, too, because I'm a huge Kelly Clarkson fan. And she chooses to live in Nashville because you can still do music and do that thing out of Nashville and avoid all of the LA paparazzi. So I mean, I do think, but it depends on what you do also.
For music,
For
Nashville's the place
music,
to
you
be,
can go
though.
in Nashville and do that.
The Kardashians
If you're a reality
wouldn't
star
last, I
or
feel
who
like.
all your things are in LA, you kind of have to live in LA, so you're stuck.
One, it's like that's where it sucks that like a bunch of like cameramen are gonna force you to move when like you've grown up in Los Angeles, like that's where your whole family is.
Well, and they're like, if it sucks too if you're pregnant. Kim's trying to come up with this whole way to avoid being like attacked while she's trying to have her baby, and that shouldn't have to be. She's got so much other things going on with her pregnancy that shouldn't be the added stress.
Do you guys remember a few weeks back we were talking about the $1 million security system Kim and Kanye got in their house, and how people were like, why would they spend so much money on a security system?
Because they have to.
That's why,
Yep,
because
they
they're
actually
getting
have to.
straight up attacked. And in this episode, there's an incident where Kim's trying to go to her own house and she can't even get through the driveway because there's so many paparazzi.
And they're
And what is-
threatening her.
Yeah, the guy says, "Give me a photo, or I'll make your life miserable."
It's like
At
horrible.
her own house, I would shoot them.
I feel like she
Or I'd hire
needed to
security
have
to shoot them.
guards lined up on the street making sure they live there.
But this is the other thing. Like, she shouldn't have to have that. Like, there should be like any public figure, even though they're a public figure, they should have that. Like the decency of like like not the government, but like protection.
They should be protected by somebody
Yes.
besides like.
It's
they-
a civil right.
Yeah, honestly. And what is Kim tells her sisters that the paparazzi told her, you just made your life a little more dangerous.
Yeah.
Like that's
So
what you're
scary.
saying
She
to a
hit her
pregnant
face
woman.
from yeah, she hit her
Did
face
you guys
from
hear
the
about
Nazi.
John? I don't know why I'm getting so violent, but John Gosselin, wherever he lives, not in LA, but he has private property, and paparazzi snuck on his property, and he took a gun out, and he's covered by the law because they're on private property. And not that I think people should take guns out, but it's nice that some states, if it's private property, you're protected, and I think that would help.
Well, I mean, that's why we've seen in past episodes, Bruce really wants to have a gun in the house. And I mean, now obviously Kris doesn't have to worry about it because they live in 2 different houses and they're not together. But but
they've been faking that they're together and buying guns for each other and all that for the last few episodes.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, it makes sense in that regard, but it's just like, but why should we have to have guns? Like, why can't there just be laws in place to protect?
I agree. Because I'm not all about like using guns or anything, but I
don't trust people though.
I know.
agree.
I do think there's a point when it's like you have this child and your job is to protect your child's life, and there's these 40 creepy old men outside of your door. What else are you gonna do?
I agree that the laws should be that way, but there's so many laws now that people don't follow. I think people are going to do whatever they want either way. So it's nice to have a taser or pepper spray on hand.
Well, and this is like the other thing, like, Kim has said that she's like, lost on relationships because of like her lifestyle and because of the paparazzi. Like, I think her, like Reggie Bush and her, I think that's one of the reasons Reggie Bush like kind of like, or they said in the press, like wanted to break up with her because he couldn't handle the paparazzi. One of the reasons, like, I mean, obviously we all know Kris Humphries is a douche, but another like reason that he like couldn't be a part of that lifestyle that she was like obsessed with. And I don't think she's obsessed with it anymore. I think she's. It was interesting to see her view.
But I don't think she's ever been obsessed
it.
with the paparazzi. I think she knows how to work fame in the industry, and she's really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
She's a smart businesswoman.
Yeah, I think she's
a
businesswoman about it,
agree.
and I don't think she's like, I need to be on the cover of every tabloid. I think she thinks in numbers almost.
Well, yeah, well, and
businesswoman.
and the thing is, Kim will give them a picture. Like, that's it. Like, you see Kim, like, she'll stop, pose for a couple pics, and then leave when it's appropriate. But when she's coming back from a doctor's appointment, grocery store, like, I don't care where, and she's just trying to get in her gate, and then you're throwing threats at, like, her that you're going to make her life dangerous and you're going to make her life miserable. I just, like, who are these people? Like, that, like, I mean, I understand, like, this is how they make a living, but seriously, that's another human being.
They make a lot of money. I think if they get that first picture, the best picture of the baby or the pregnancy picture, they can make so much money, but
and I don't think it necessarily has to. I do think if they came up with laws, I think it's okay if somebody's walking down Rodeo Drive to take their picture because they're in a very public place where they're going to be seen.
Yeah, and you or I could take that picture.
I think it's completely different than like going into their home.
There was a part where they were talking about the whole labor situation, which we'll get into, but she was afraid that she was going to have her water break out in public and she was going to slip on it, like down Rodeo Drive, and have the paparazzi take a crazy picture.
I mean,
that would be so funny.
You gotta kind of think it's almost a blessing in disguise, like that. The way Kim went into labor. I mean, I know we don't know all the details, but it sounds like she kind of knew
where she was when she went into labor.
No, do you?
No.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I just feel like it was almost like the doctor knew something was up, so it might have been slightly like, okay, I know I need to go this date. So it seemed like it was a little. They had a little bit of time to be like, we have to get this baby out. It's too low. So I think she could plan it a little bit better.
And you know what? I feel like people have been giving Kanye a lot of flack for how he treats the paparazzi and blah, blah, blah. But I say more power to him because he's protecting his wife and his baby mama and his daughter,
Yeah, just baby
mama. And he's fine without all that paparazzi attention. He doesn't need it.
He is Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes. He doesn't need it.
He is.
I feel like Kim is probably the biggest celebrity that's getting pictures on every tabloid right now.
Like
don't you think? Like for the
Miley.
Last year. Yeah, Miley's everywhere right now too.
Well, I think Khloe's actually, her pictures are probably worth more because of the whole Lamar thing. And probably even Kris and Bruce
right now. The whole family, one big scandal.
Oh my gosh.
They don't need the paparazzi, and I'm going to transition to this watch, but we need your iTunes subscriptions.
That was a good one.
Thank you. Everybody go on to iTunes and rate and subscribe to Keeping Up with the Kardashians podcast on AfterBuzz TV and share it with all your friends. Give us 5 stars, and we love all your YouTube comments and your tweets. Keep them coming, and we will keep giving you these podcasts.
And get in on the discussion. I think the whole paparazzi issue is a really interesting debate. So, let us know what you think. And we'll read them and maybe talk about a little bit about it next week.
Yeah, whether you agree or disagree, we want to hear it.
Whoop
Can
whoop.
we talk about pregnant people?
Let's talk about pregnant
talk
people.
about pregnant
We don't have a song for that. I can't really think of one.
I don't know.
We should make one.
No, that's just
We-
No,
I got a
it's been
baby
enough
in
of
my
a
belly.
karaoke episode this time.
That'd be so fun.
We could do a musical episode of this.
We
show.
could. So Kim wants a glam person booked for her pregnancy. And she's like, I just need a spray tan and I need a wax. And before we get into the
A
pregnancy,
full-on glam squad for giving birth.
Yeah.
though, because she wants her baby to look at her and see a beautiful face, even
so
though
she's got to get her nails done, her hair done.
Which is not good. It's not like the chemicals that they use in like the makeup and like the nail stuff, and if she's dyeing her hair, and I don't know, like I think that the stuff that they do spray tans with is all natural, but that I know for sure the whole getting your nails done and getting your hair dyed when you're pregnant is just not a good idea. And if you're doing it right before you're about to give birth, like,
is there like a, I don't know anything about this, but is there like a organic,
Yeah, Mother's
natural,
Market makes
there's got to be a
natural
way
stuff,
to get your nails done.
But I doubt Kim's using that stuff because it doesn't work as well.
Oh, okay. Good to know.
But there was this skit back, I'm talking 90s. Chelsea Handler used to be on this show called Girls Behaving Badly, and it was a prank show. And she did a skit where she dressed up like a pregnant lady, and she hired a glam squad to do her makeup. And she was posing in her house on this bed, like with a big pregnant belly. And she had this glam squad come, and she's like, yeah, I want the lighting here and the blush like this. And the people just thought she was crazy, but they were filming the reactions, and it ended up being really funny. But I felt like
I need
this
to watch
episode was just, it was almost like Chelsea was,
in the
making
background.
fun of Kim, but in the
like
past,
I
like
think,
pre, she was
I think
thinking
some of
about
that
it.
was played up for camera. I'm hoping.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, she even
I don't know
said
though, because
that she's not
I
that
think
big
I
of
see,
a glamour
I
puss. She's
think
chill.
I see both sides though, because if there are going to be 40 paparazzi out there, I don't know.
yeah, but we've already seen pictures of you, Kim, without makeup. Like, why do you care? And
Well, she wanted her baby to think she was pretty.
your baby does not remember the day it's born. Do you remember the day you were born, Kim? Do you remember looking in your mother's face? I highly doubt it.
Well, I can understand wanting to have your hair nice and your makeup nice, but can't she just do that herself? Put on some foundation, voila, I'm in a hospital. Like you don't need a full-on glam squad like you're going to a red carpet.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. If you are having to squeeze a basketball-sized thing out of you, like, do you really care what you're going to be looking like?
Well,
All
and
you're
I
going to be
think-
caring about is the pain that's going
And
on.
I think Chloe's concern through this whole thing, which I get, is that she hasn't even booked her hospital room at this point.
So she
So
isn't
she's-
taking
she's
care of
got-
the medical stuff that's
Yeah.
very important, like security
about the
in
glam.
the room. It's all about how hot she's going to look. And she even talks about how once the baby's popped out, she doesn't even say he or she. She's like, once it's out of me, I just want to walk around naked,
She
go
wants to
on
do Playboy.
and
I hope she does, though, honestly.
Yeah,
I
more
heard
power-
she is.
She looks gorgeous now. Like, I mean, all those pictures that have been coming out of her and Kanye, she just looks beautiful. And the way she's dressing is like embracing like her curves and her.
I
Like,
feel like she
motherly
just
figure.
looks like she's, because her pregnancy was, we've talked about this a lot, but she had a very stressful pregnancy, like not only with medical issues, but with the divorce and with all that sort of thing. And so I think now she can finally just like enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Enjoy your baby. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Nori is healthy, and her and Kanye seem very happy. So.
And I think Leah was kind of a good influence on her throughout this episode, just being like, hey, take it easy. You don't have to be glammed
Be all
up. Do
spiritual,
some
do
yoga,
some
pop that
yoga.
thing out.
Hey Kim, I think you should do some Pilates with me. That's relaxed. Are
Keaton's
you
not making
relaxed,
fun of
Kim?
Leah's voice, if that's what you're thinking.
Not at all.
Because it's not annoying at all.
I think Leah is beautiful. I think she's absolutely gorgeous.
She has a
and
great
she's
singing
so,
voice.
Yeah, and she's so chill, and she seems very laid back. But when she talks sometimes, I'm just like, are you 5?
I feel like they would never hang out if they weren't connected to
Sister-in-laws,
family.
I agree. Well, they're not anymore.
They're so opposite.
Right?
Kim's such a glamour puss, and then she's all natural.
You know,
and
it is kind of weird that.
Because Bruce and Kris are split, so they're not technically related anymore, right?
But don't you guys find it weird that, you know,
guess so.
they've technically been split for a year now, and that's what they're saying in the news. And this is the season that they decide to like throw in the Jenner boys and the Jenner clan. Like if you're I just, it's very strange that
I
like,
wonder-
they forced it so much this season.
But I wonder if the production company even knew.
Really?
Because I could see, I mean, Kris and Bruce are both business savvy, you know? and Bruce is just as much a part of this empire as anyone. And so I think maybe Kris went to Bruce and was like, "Hey, for all of your kids."
Well, they said they're going to continue
Kendall and
doing
Kylie
the show.
are making things off of this. Why don't we get another house? We can just play it up on they just have to do a couple scenes together. I kind of get where they're coming from, and I wonder if the production company was not in on it.
The article I
sure Ryan
read
Seacrest
made
knew.
it seem like they're going to keep doing it this way. Like, just have them live in separate houses and
Oh.
act like a big family. Because they've been separated for a while. And when they first got separate houses, we predicted that they were breaking up.
Yeah.
But then in the last couple of weeks in my news and gossip, I always bring up how I keep seeing the tabloids about it, and I'm like, I don't know.
'Cause you
I
never
focus
know
about
because-
Khloe and Lamar.
Yeah.
But those tabloids, you never know what to believe, what's true and what's not, and they actually are right on this one.
It's crazy.
Well, before we get into more news
Yeah,
and
let's
gossip,
talk
you guys wanna
about
talk about MJ a little bit.
So just a funny little. I feel like the Kardashians have signed everyone in their family up for online dating at some point, right?
Yes.
Okay, just throwing that out there. They've been using a lot of recycled storylines this season, which might be why the ratings are bad. Just saying.
It was
But it was
horrible ratings last
Yeah, the
week.
rating, which
I didn't see if they were worse.
I
or
hope
better
it. I
this
hope
week.
it does better, but I feel like the show has definitely had a long run and it's
Yeah.
done really well. So I think it's just like
Might be
taking its
time.
natural toll. I don't know.
I
But
don't know.
anyways, they
They're all
signed their
moving on with
grandma
their
up for a
lives.
dating website and they interview all these guys.
Walt.
Walt is our favorite.
All of our favorites.
And so then they go and actually meet the guys, and that's kind of a funny moment. I love just seeing like Kourtney and Khloe mess around and have fun.
The reason I love the Kardashians is because they do these practical jokes and get their, do all the jokes. They set up people, and I love doing things like that. So I think that's why I like the show. I feel like they would be fun to hang out with because they like doing the same things as me.
I feel like their grandma was probably a little afraid that they were doing something like for the TV, is what it seemed like. Because even when she was talking to them, she kind of was like, "What are you doing?" And I don't think she realized they were actually trying to find her a boyfriend.
Well, and even in other episodes with MJ, like she's shied away from it. Like you can tell she's not comfortable with that.
She does it for the family, but it's not like her main.
Yeah,
shtick.
I think she's only been in it like this is like her second or maybe third episode that I've actually seen her.
They've
I
got to
think
be.
so, too.
They've got to be paying off or something. Because they've gotten so many extended family members to come on this season.
Well, Bruce's mom was
Yeah.
in earlier, and
It's interesting.
Pulling out all sorts of grandparents.
I
and
know.
old
So
people.
MJ didn't end up meeting the guy they chose. Just kind of funny. I
Well,
kind of
she
respect
just
that. She's
took
like,
off and
yeah,
left
I'm leaving.
when they told her.
Good for her.
I wish they wouldn't have told her though. I wish she could have went.
It would have been
more.
funnier
I
if he
really
just
wanted
showed
to
up.
see that.
I tried to get my grandma a boyfriend before.
Well, Walt was so funny. I feel like they would have had a really.
I know. I liked him except for he had no
funny-
teeth.
Yeah.
or his teeth were weird.
He
My
had
my
dentures.
grandpa's dating like a woman like 20 years younger than him. He's
Really?
like in his 80s and she's in her 60s, and we're like, Grandpa, you're like robbing the cradle, and he's like, What's that mean?
What's that mean?
What's that mean? And we're like, It means you're dating younger women. You go, Grandpa. And he gets all embarrassed about it. But good for them. If they
Whenever I
wanna do
see
it, let
me
them
and my
do it.
grandma, she used to live in Arizona. We were hanging by the pool one time, and there's this guy doing yoga. I'm like, Grandma, he's flexible. Like, go get in on that. She's like, okay, I'll see what I can do.
Oh my
That's
God.
so funny.
So fun.
This is the thing. Like, when people are like are senior citizens, like just leave them be. Like, if they want to hang out with you, cool, hang out with them. But and if they want somebody to hang out with, like they'll go find them. But don't
Do
like
you have
force
sex
them
when
out
you're
of
that
their way.
old?
Jane
I think
Fonda.
everyone has sex.
Jane Fonda says she does.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I think 15 and up
Do you know?
until you
There-
die.
Until
There
you
is
die.
actually an epidemic going on with STDs in senior homes because they don't obviously they're not worried about pregnancy, so they don't use condoms, but they don't know about STDs and stuff. So there's been a lot of articles out recently about how that's a huge problem.
I've also
are
heard
getting-
that there's
Good
a
for
lot
them.
of drama and craziness that goes on in senior citizen homes. Like they'll sleep with each other and then they'll have like cat fights. I've heard so many stories about people's grandparents like,
Guys,
cheating on
let's
each
make
other
a
and
reality
stuff.
show.
No, there was a reality
Please.
show and it got canceled.
Oh,
I think it was
damn
on.
it.
It was called like.
We'll make a better
something
one.
about
Yeah.
like the Golden Acre. I don't know.
Ours will be raunchier.
Oh, it was real raunchy.
Really?
Like
Walt
all the
will star
older.
in it.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Hills version of like a senior citizen home. Like
That's beautiful.
amazing.
it was hysterical, and like the people they got in it were so good. I think you can find it online.
Well, we know now that Bruce Jenner can star in it. since he's single. Let's get into some news and gossip. AfterBuzz TV news and gossip. Okay. I was gonna do it by myself, Marissa. Thanks though. It's okay. Hit me.
Oh, with some news and gossip? Okay, well, there have been pictures that have surfaced of Khloe Kardashian partying, and she's still got her rock on. She's rocking the ring, and another picture also surfaced of her and Lamar in a car together, going to Kris's house, and they were like, the headline was, Khloe and Lamar like putting their issues aside to go comfort her mom in this time. But Kris seems just fine, because she actually, somebody had tweeted at Brody about, something about his dad being sad, and Brody tweeted back like pictures with him and Brandon and Bruce all over at Kris's house, and they're all together like a big happy family. And it's like, okay, it's weird.
Staged, do you think?
I don't know, because usually I don't think Brody's really into that staging crap. I don't think that's his scene, and especially Brandon. And so I can't imagine Brandon going and doing that. Yeah, Sunset Days.
Oh, the old people reality show.
Yeah,
I gotta watch that.
You would love it.
Thanks, Marissa. I feel like Brody might play into it a little bit, because remember Brody had his own reality show, like Who's My BFF or something on MTV.
I think he does play it up, because he seems
Brandon
different
doesn't.
on every
I agree
reality
with that.
show.
But I don't know. I feel like if they've been doing it for a year and a half, they're probably, I'm sure they're friends and amicable. So if they can do it for the family, then that's
more power
to them.
And I'm honestly, when you're with somebody for they were together for 24 years, you're friends.
I kind of hope they stay together though, because I like that.
You just want the show to stay on,
I know, that's
don't
true.
you? You don't care
but I don't
about
think
Bruce.
I don't care about Bruce at all. I think Khloe is wearing her ring until Lamar's out of rehab, and then I think they're gonna divorce.
If I had a diamond that big, I'd never take it off. It's like this big. That's so shallow. But I kept seeing more tabloids about Lamar getting worse. Like that he was trying to get back into drugs more, and they're trying to give him more ultimatums, was what I read.
I don't know.
There's so many tabloids that are all over the place. It's hard to believe any of them. We don't really know what's true and what's not, but we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah,
if they get divorced or not. I still think they're going to.
The happiness that is in the tabloids are, it seems like Kris and Kanye, as we said earlier, they're doing really well. Like
Kim and
Kanye. What
I mixed them up too. Yeah, I said that earlier too. Or I said
you said Kim
Bruce
and Bruce.
Bruce and Kim, and I was like,
everybody sounds the same.
But
too many K names.
Again, you have to be happy for Kanye and Kim, because they went through a lot this summer.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they can both step out together now, put smiles on, they both feel great, and they're both doing great. More power to them.
For sure. You guys want to get into some predictions?
Let's get into some predictions.
Oh, hell yeah.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
Ooh, lights. I love this studio because there's the light. It's like
I know.
It's like an
Getting some
alien
strobes
ship.
in here. I'm going to predict Khloe and Lamar get divorced. Sorry.
I still predict that too. I'm so sad when we were watching this episode, we didn't get to watch the teaser for next week's episode.
I know, it cut off.
So really sad we can't go off that. I do think that they're going to get divorced. And I feel like Bruce and Kris, they've been very polite and we're announcing this, that we are splitting up. And I feel like they're going to kind of keep it going that way. Like we've been split up and we're kind of best friends that get along.
I feel like they will cover that on the show.
I hope they do.
I don't know if they're going to cover Khloe's stuff because it's a little too dark.
Yeah, but
that one's sadder.
Maybe the reason they announced it now was because it's going to be coming out on the show very soon.
Probably.
So
I could see Kris being like, Bruce, we are not announcing it until it premieres on Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Again,
not surprising.
Props to her for the type of businesswoman she is, because obviously she's doing a lot of things right in that department. But I predict that Kim next week will see her head off to the hospital too. I think that's going to be the end of next week's episode. Will be her either like a phone call of I need to go to the hospital. That's going to be like how then I feel like we might have a little hiatus again.
Yeah, she's about ready to pop, so I think the next episode
and that'll be the finale.
Almost cooked.
Ooh, almost cooked, but In the meantime, where can they find y'all?
You can find me all over the internet at Danica Kennedy.
GoneWild.com.
You can find me on Twitter at KeetinM33 and on Instagram at Keetin33.
And I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Jason Ikeler. And I just started a new blog, www.jasoninla.com. And we will all be back in here next Sunday.
Woo!
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Yo frickin' low.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.